In this video, we've put together the ultimate guide for Oswego Lake. If you're thinking about buying a home on the lake here, or you're just interested in learning more about lake life, this is the video for you. First off, we're going to show you all of the different parts of the lake from the lake tour videos that we've made for this channel. And then we're going to show you our one-of-a-kind boat easement video where we cover every boat easement on Oswego Lake, and we show you some little known ways to get on the lake, secret ways that most locals don't even know. And then we'll show you how to buy a boat. Oswego Lake has some very unique rules. We'll walk you through all of those. And before we jump in, I just want to say that locals here refer to the lake as Lake Oswego or Oswego Lake interchangeably. We do the same thing in our videos. My name is Will Fendon. This is Live Love Lake Oswego. This is a real estate channel 100% dedicated to the Lake Oswego real estate market and everything that makes this such a great place to live. Let's go. Okay, we've got something really special for you today. It's a tour of the north side of Lake Oswego. Now, the town of Lake Oswego is built around a beautiful lake called Lake Oswego, and the north side of the lake is widely considered to be one of the most prestigious and desirable addresses anywhere in town, if not the entire state of Oregon. Now, in selling real estate here for many years, I began noticing that many of our clients often commented on how difficult it is to see the lake. In fact, a lot of people that we know that have lived here for many years have never seen the entire lake because it's difficult. There's limited access. There's no one street that just traces the shoreline perfectly all the way around. So in this video, we're going to take you on a tour from end to end, and we're going to show you the north side of the lake from the water side and also from the street side so that you can really get a feeling for what the lifestyle is like. Let's get into it. Okay, I'm joined now on a very blustery day by my wife, Jane. Hello, honey.
Hi, Will. It is windy.
We're standing here on North Shore Road. This is the bridge that divides Half Moon Bay, which you can see behind us here, from Lakewood Bay. Now, when you stand in downtown Lake Oswego in Millennium Plaza Park and you look out from the viewpoint over Lakewood Bay, a lot of people think that they're seeing all of Lake Oswego.
But since there's limited access to Lake Oswego, you really can't see the entire lake from any one particular point.
That's right. So it's really important to understand when you're talking about the lake that Lake Oswego is actually made up of a series of waterways, bays, and canals moving east to west from Lakewood Bay. It's Lakewood Bay and then Half Moon Bay, which opens out into the main lake. And then at the other end of the lake, you've got another beautiful bay called West Bay. And then there are a series of canals, the Kelok Canal and then the Blue Heron Canal.
When you've lived in Lake Oswego for many years, people tend to talk about the main lake as the north side of the lake or the south side of the lake. For this video, we're going to cover the main lake and the north side of the lake.
And specifically, we're talking about the homes that begin at North Shore Circle, not far from where we're standing here, the homes that face the main lake from there, all the way down the lake shore to the bridge on South Shore Boulevard that you pass under to go into West Bay. Okay, as we start to make our way around the north side of the lake, we've jumped to the three-way intersection here of North Shore Road and Berwick Road.
North Shore Road is one of the most popular roads for biking and for cyclists and also walkers. I love walking and biking on North Shore Road. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and the homes that you see behind us here in the background, these are some of the most prestigious waterfront luxury homes anywhere in Lake Oswego.
Many of our clients here love this because they get the southern exposure, and that means they get sun most of the day. It's really amazing.
And when you live here, you know, you'll often hear people refer to homes on this side of the lake, particularly this end of North Shore Road, where we're closer to downtown Lake Oswego, as low bank homes. And what that means is the topography
is lower here. And so the homes, if they're not right on the water, they have very few steps to get down to the water. So it just makes for a great lifestyle when you don't have, really steep staircases or even funicular trams to get down to the water's edge.
Yeah, and many of these homes have custom boathouses and amazing outdoor living spaces. Just beautiful.
Some of them also have really large, oversized lots. I mean, in some cases, up to an acre or even an acre plus. And I just can't say enough about the quality of the lifestyle here, because North Shore dead ends ultimately. And so there's really very little traffic. The only traffic that you see here is just neighborhood traffic. So that contributes to, that feeling of seclusion. It feels private, it feels secluded. And overall, it's just a really wonderful part of Lake Oswego to live in. If you'd like to receive a list of all of the homes that are currently listed for sale on the lake, please feel free to reach out to me. You can call or text me at the number on screen. There's also additional ways to contact us in the description to this video down below. These are some of the most exclusive waterfront homes in Lake Oswego. Sometimes they're listed publicly. That means you can find them on sites like Zillow or Redfin or many others. But in other cases, we know of homes that are available off market. So if you're interested in knowing what the inventory is of available homes at any time, just reach out to me. We'd love to talk to you.
I'm standing in front of the Forest Hills easement right here on North Shore Road, and it is one of the nicest easements on Lake Oswego. They just went through a multi-million-dollar renovation. It's beautiful. If you want to find out more about boat easements, we covered every single easement on the lake. So check it out. It's right on our channel.
We've made our way all the way to the end of North Shore Road to where it dead ends into a very short neighborhood street called Diamond Head Road, which brings you here.
And you wouldn't believe it, you wouldn't guess, but all these homes in back of us are all lakefront homes.
All of them are located on what's called Diamond Head Point. And the important thing to understand is how much the topography of the lakeshore has changed by the time you get here. Like going back to where we started this video on the bridge on North Shore Road to here, there's been a dramatic increase in elevation. Check out these homes on the point. They have spectacular views out across Lake Oswego and the surrounding territory. Okay, continuing our tour of the north side of Lake Oswego, we've left North Shore Road and Diamond Head Point, and we've passed some significant landmarks like Jansen Island, which is rumored to have the most expensive private residence anywhere in Lake Oswego located on it. And just past there, one of my favorite boat easements is the Uplands easement. I love that one because of the way it's tucked in. It kind of feels like Pirates of the Caribbean type setting. And then around the corner from there, there's another bay that locals refer to as the Party Cove. Now, this is like party central in the summertime. Everybody likes to go there and drop anchor and hang out. It always feels like a party there. And just beyond there, there's another boat easement, which we're standing right above, called Village on the Lake. And that's a great one too. Now, where we're standing here, this is actually called Lakeview Summit.
And Lakeview Summit, because of the topography, is pretty steep. It's pretty high up here. So some of these homes have access to the lake, but many of the homes, they're gonna have access through their easements to the lake.
Yeah, and they don't all have boat easements, but many of them do. The ones that do have lake access, it's often through very steep staircases, or even in some cases funicular trams to get down to the water, where you'll often see beautiful boathouses and even decks, and like an outdoor living area that's been created, so you can be right down on the water, which is really cool.
This is a neighborhood street in the Lakeview Summit area called View Lake Court. Look at the huge views these homes get over Lake Oswego.
If you want to explore the Lakeview Summit area further, it can be a little confusing because of the way the streets kind of wend around up here. But one way to access this area is you can take Iron Mountain Boulevard to Summit Drive and then make your way into the neighborhood and look for streets like Bayview Lane or Village Drive or Twin Points Road, among others. Twin Points Road, as a matter of fact, has a couple of the most prestigious homes on the lake. It's a private road, but take a look at these. They're spectacular. Okay, we've made our way down from the top of Lakeview Summit, following Summit Drive, to where it T-bones into Lakeview Boulevard, just beyond where I'm standing here on this bridge. Now, the important thing to understand as we continue our tour of the north side of the lake is the way the topography continues to change. That's been a big theme of this entire video, topography, because the lakeshore changes continually. And you can see with these homes behind us, they're lower bank homes now. They're closer to the water, and that will continue to be true as we move on to show you the homes on another one of the most important streets on the north side of the lake in Lake Oswego, which is Lakeview Boulevard. Let's jump to that now so you can check it out. I'm standing on Lakeview Boulevard here. Lakeview is considered one of the more prestigious streets anywhere in Lake Oswego, as is North Shore Road. Now, in comparison to some of the homes that we showed you earlier in the video on North Shore, the homes along Lakeview here aren't quite as private. They're not quite as secluded. They tend to be on smaller lots that are a little more uniform in shape, but most of these are lower bank homes. So that means the waterfront side of these homes is spectacular. Some of them even have pools, but because they're lower to the water, they also have great boat houses and outdoor living areas, you know, with great spaces for launching stand-up paddle boards and kayaks and things like that. No two of them are exactly alike. All of these homes are custom, they're architecturally significant, and they all get great sun exposure because they still have that southern exposure that we talked about earlier in the video. So Lakeview Boulevard is just a fantastic part of Lake Oswego to live in.
Here's another angle on some Lakeview Boulevard homes. You can see what I was talking about. The lot sizes are a little more uniform in shape, perhaps a bit smaller than some of the other homes on North Shore Road that you saw earlier in this video, but they're magnificent. Right next door, there's a custom home under construction on a huge lot. I'm sure it's going to be a stunner when it's done. Not far away, here's another example of a new luxury home that's currently under construction. Now, this one's being built on spec. That means it's for sale. I'm sure it's going to be amazing when it's finished. And look at that view back down the north side of the lake. Love it.
And now we're at the Lake Grove Swim Park. This is one of the absolute jewels of Lake Oswego. Brings back great memories. Our kids started swim lessons here when they were 4. They learned to swim in the lake. We had countless hours of picnics, birthday parties, playing on the play equipment, lots of fun gatherings. And the 4th of July even had the barge out in the lake here, and a bunch of people would watch the fireworks from here. We just made countless family memories in this wonderful park.
Okay, our tour of the north side of Lake Oswego ends with the last piece of shoreline and the homes that you find between the Lake Grove Swim Park and the bridge on South Shore Boulevard, where we're standing here, that you pass under to go into West Bay.
And like you had mentioned earlier, Will, the homes in back of us are all on low banks. That means these homes sit right on the water. Many of these homes have views all the way down the lake. They have magnificent views.
Yeah, that combination of the low bank setting and the monster views looking down the lake, and also in some cases oversized lots, certainly in comparison to many of the lots that you find on Lakeview Boulevard. That explains why there's been a lot of construction right along here in the recent past. One of the builders that we've worked with periodically for almost 20 years, a luxury home builder called Renaissance Homes, they recently built a spec home just a stone's throw away from here that sold for $10.5 million. That's a big price tag in Lake Oswego. It set a new bar for spec home sales in town, and it's a spectacular home.
Not long after Renaissance sold that spec home for $10.5 million, the home literally right next door, which was a resale home, also sold for $10.5 million. Waterfront homes like this epitomize why the lakefront lifestyle in Lake Oswego is so desirable. It's an incredible place to live. Okay, we've got a great video for you today. It's a tour of the south side of Lake Oswego. Now, the town of Lake Oswego is built around a lake called Lake Oswego, and the waterfront homes that you find here are some of the most prestigious homes in town, if not the entire state of Oregon. But the homes on the south side of the lake are really difficult to see because of its steep topography. So In this video, we're going to take you on a tour of the south side of the lake from one end to the other. And along the way, we'll show you some homes with amazing views. We'll take you into a hidden cove. We're going to show you an unknown boat easement and some spectacular luxury homes. It all starts right now. Let's go.
Okay, I'm joined by my lovely wife and partner in crime once again. Hello, Jane.
Hey, Bill.
We're standing on the bridge on South Shore Boulevard that you pass under when you enter the Blue Heron Canal. That's a good reference point for the start of this video about the south side of Lake Oswego, because we're going to show you the entire south side of the lake, starting here and going all the way to the other end where the Lake Corporation headquarters building and boat launch is located. There also are some condominiums right there called the Villas on Lake Oswego. So we're going to introduce you to the entire lakeshore, the south side of the lake, everything between here and there in this video.
In a previous video we did about the north side of the lake, we pointed out that many homes are low bank homes. That means they're closer to the water, as opposed to the south side of the lake, which has more high bank homes because of the topography. They're a lot higher up.
Yeah, the south side it's pretty mountainous actually in many places. And if you live in Lake Oswego already and you're familiarizing yourself more with the south side of the lake, trying to understand the homes that are closer to the lake, or if you're new to the area, some of the streets that you can explore to get a really good feeling for this side of the lake are all accessible off of South Shore Boulevard. Streets like Greenbrier Road, Phantom Bluff Court, Cedar Court, and Edgecliff Terrace. Those are all great south side streets, neighborhood streets that you can drive down to get a really good feeling for what it feels like on this side of the lake. You'll be surrounded by trees. Sometimes you can see the lake, sometimes you can't because of the steepness of the topography. But that's a great starting point if you want to explore.
In this video, we're going to show you some high bank homes with beautiful views of the lake. And we're also going to show you a few easements, like the one in back of us called Blue Heron.
Yeah, this Blue Heron boat easement, the next best way to get on the lake if you don't live in a waterfront home in Lake Oswego is through a neighborhood boat easement. We made a whole video about every boat easement on the lake that you can find elsewhere on this channel. But today, in this video, we're also going to hit a few of them that are pretty spectacular. So let's go.
I'm standing on the deck of a home that's owned by some very dear friends of ours. And this is a good example of one of the high bank homes on the south side of the lake. We've spent many hours here at parties and just looked out at this view. It is magnificent. It's a beautiful view of the lake.
And yet when you're standing here, you'd never know because of this view that this home is also a lakefront home. It has a trail that descends the hillside behind us and leads down to a private boat slip and dock that is deeded to this house. So they kind of have the best of both worlds. They've got this monster view of the lake, and they've got a private boat slip and access to the water that is part of this property.
And isn't the Palisades easement is down there too?
Yeah, right below us on the hill next to the dock that goes with this house is the Palisades boat easement. Now, that's one of the most unique and secluded boat easements anywhere on the lake. It's got a long stairway you have to descend to get to it, but when you get down to it, the cove that it sits in is really picturesque, and it serves the largest neighborhood in Lake Oswego, which is right above us here. It's called the Palisades. Now, if you'd like to know what homes are available that are currently for sale in Lake Oswego, the inventory changes all the time for lakefront homes and also for other homes in town, but we'd be happy to send you a list of homes that are currently on the market. We often know of homes that are off market as well, but are available. Please feel free to reach out to me. You can call or text me at the number that you see on screen. We've also got contact information in the description to this video down below. We'd love to talk to you.
Moving past the Palisades easement, you're looking at Robinson Point. Now, this is a really exclusive address that's hard to find if you don't know where it is. You access it by traveling down a neighborhood road that leads to a private gated entrance. Beyond that you descend a hill and look at this. This is just a handful of luxury homes, and they are spectacular, especially at sunset.
As we continue our tour of the south side of Lake Oswego, after you pass Robinson Point, the next neighborhood boat easement that you come to is called the South Shore Glen Easement. Now, we talk about boat easements quite a bit in this video, and we wanted to show you one with a little more detail because we actually are members of this one.
Yeah, this one's really special to us. It has racks for your stand-up paddleboards, racks for your kayaks. There's our boat slip down there. I just remember countless memories with our family, our kids down here. We were kayaking, jumping off the dock here in the water, going out for boat rides, and spending countless hours just looking at this beautiful water.
Yeah, and if you get lucky, sometimes you see bald eagles that live in the trees near here. You know, we've talked a lot about how the south side of Lake Oswego has a very high bank in most places. And as you look around our easement here, you can really get a sense of what we're talking about when you look at the steepness of the topography. But that also creates a feeling of privacy and even closeness to nature, if that doesn't sound too cheesy to say. I mean, it just really feels beautiful when you're down here, and we've always loved that. Okay, as we continue our tour of the south side of Lake Oswego, we just left the South Shore Glen easement, which Jane and I like to think of as our easement.
We love that easement.
Since we're members over there. But before we leave this neighborhood, we wanted to make a quick stop and show you something that's really unique.
This is the Lakeside Terrace easement. It's private. 11 to 12 waterfront homes on Terrace Drive have access to it.
That's it. And yet this boat easement is right next to the South Shore Glen easement. It doesn't even show up on the maps. If you go to the Lake Corporation website and you look up the map that they have there for boat easements, this one doesn't even appear there. So in selling real estate for almost 20 years, this is the kind of thing that I've always enjoyed sharing with clients, because if you're trying to understand all the different ways that you can get onto Lake Oswego, either through waterfront homes or through boat easements, there are things like this that exist in the community that some people, even people that have lived in Lake Oswego for many, many years, don't realize exists. So we wanted to show it to you. This is a really cool easement. They've got a funicular tram, they've got their own swimming area and a beautiful dock. So we'll give you a look at that now, and then let's keep going with the tour.
And now we've got something really rare and special to share with you guys.
Yeah, that's true. Jane and I are standing on the deck of a home located at 745 Terrace Drive on the south side of Lake Oswego. This home was recently purchased by a luxury home builder that we've worked with periodically for almost 20 years. They're called Renaissance Homes, and as we speak, they're taking steps right now to build an amazing spec home at this location. The preliminary plans that we've seen show just over 6,000 square feet. I think it's going to be about 6,500 square feet, plus or minus a little bit, on 2 levels with a funicular tram that will descend to a boathouse on the lake. You're going to have just magnificent views up and down the lake for 180 degrees in both directions. It's going to have a swimming pool, and it's going to have all the luxury amenities, bells and whistles that you could ever want in a brand new house.
This is a huge lot. So it's a very rare thing for a builder to find this large of a lot right on the lake and build a spec home here. It's like half an acre.
Yeah, a little over half an acre. As you travel around the lake, there are a handful of new homes under construction, but the majority of them are custom build projects that people are building for themselves.
About a year and a half ago, Renaissance also built another spec home at the other end of the lake that sold for $10.5 million.
And they're going big again at this site. We've heard preliminary pricing is projected to be in the $12 to $13 million range. That could obviously change. That could slide up or down a little bit when they get closer to completion. But we've got a bit of an inside track on this one. If you'd like more information about it, we'd be happy to provide that. We'll flash the number again on screen right now. You can call or text me. I'd be happy to share what we know as this project evolves. This is really going to be an amazing home on the lake.
A showstopper. In the video we made about the north side of Lake Oswego, we showed you homes there that had huge lots, some of them over an acre.
Yeah, and the same is true on the south side of the lake as well. But it's not always obvious. You can drive through a neighborhood like the one where we're standing now and not even realize that these homes behind us here are estate caliber homes that are also on huge lots, in some cases more than an acre large, and yet it's not obvious. They're totally private and secluded. They've got private boat houses. Many of them have trams or stairways or trails that lead down to the water, and they're just great examples of the incredible variety of homes and architecture that you find with waterfront homes all around Lake Oswego. Okay, as we near the end of our tour of the south side of Lake Oswego, Jane and I are now standing on Lakefront Road, and you'll notice behind us, we're much closer to the water here. As we've moved our way down the south side of the lake, we've come down in elevation. These homes on Lakefront are much lower bank homes. We've talked a lot in this video about how so many of the homes on the south side of the lake are high bank homes. But Lakefront Road is one of the most desirable streets in Lake Oswego because these homes are so much closer to the water. They have beautiful outdoor living areas. Many of them have been rebuilt brand new in the recent past, or remodeled heavily because it's such a desirable location.
Yeah, what's really nice about Lakefront Road is its accessibility. It's walking distance to downtown, to Whole Foods, to Lakewood Center of the Arts, to George Rogers Park, and many people love that. They have access to all these different great places to go.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best locations on the lake on the south side. Now, you may remember at the beginning of this video, we said that the end of our tour of the south side would end with the Lake Corporation headquarters just beyond where we're standing here. The Lake Corporation owns the only boat ramp that you can use to put boats on and take them off Lake Oswego. That's the only gas pump on the lake. You have to go there to fill up your boat. And just beyond there, there's actually a private marina. We covered it in another video that we made about all of the boat easements and how they work on Lake Oswego. If you're curious, you can learn about that private marina in that video. And then just beyond that, our tour ends at the villas on Lake Oswego. Those are some condominiums that actually have private boat docks. Not all of them, but a few of them actually have their own private boat slips that are part of the condominiums. So that's pretty cool. And that's where our tour of the south side of Lake Oswego officially ends.
Yeah.
In today's video, we're pointing our cameras toward Lakewood Bay. Now, if you don't know, Lakewood Bay is that beautiful bay that you can see from Millennium Plaza Park in downtown Lake Oswego. Millennium Plaza Park is where the beloved farmers market happens every year in the spring and summer, among many other things. And as you look around the bay, you'll notice there are a variety of different homes that line this bay. You've got beautiful multi-million-dollar luxury homes. There are some condominiums. There are some homes on a street called Cabana Lane that sit right out over the water. There's some of the more unique homes anywhere in Lake Oswego. There's also a couple of really cool boat easements on this bay. There's a lot to know about this relatively small bay. We're gonna show it all to you right now. Let's go.
Okay, welcome to Lakewood Bay. We're sitting in the middle of Lakewood Bay, and I'm joined once again by my wife, Jane. Hello, honey.
Hey there, Will. We're back.
So we want to give you a tour of Lakewood Bay today to help you understand this part of the lake. And as we get going here, you can see off to the right of the boat here, these homes are on North Shore Road. Now, these are all mostly low bank homes, meaning they're close to the water. Every one of them is custom and unique architecturally. You won't find two homes that are the same. Most of them have beautiful boat houses, great outdoor living areas, and it's really easy to walk to downtown Lake Oswego from here. That's one of the things that makes it such a desirable location in terms of just Lake Oswego in general, is because not only you're on the water, but you're very close to downtown. Okay, we're coming into one of our absolute favorite parts of the lake right here.
Yes, this is at the bottom of the lake, Lakewood Bay.
And this is a great boat dock.
So you can take your boats right down here. There's really fun restaurants. The Lake Theater has a fun restaurant, and one of the best decks on the lake is right back here at the restaurant. So this is super fun to come down here Saturday morning and dock your boat and run up to the farmer's market and all. We did that a lot with our kids.
Yeah, our kids grew up coming here with us on boats. There's so much to do in Millennium Plaza Park, which is right here. You've got Domain Serene Winery, you've got a great Pete's Coffees, restaurant called Holy Tacos, a new place that just opened called the Tap House, Lake Oswego Tap House, and lots of other fun.
St. Honore and
yeah,
sushi.
St. Honore Bakery. Lots of other places that make this a really fun place to come in your boat, you know, spend part of the day or the whole day, and then go home under the stars. In our other lake tour videos that we've made that you can find elsewhere on this channel, we pointed out that when you stand in Millennium Plaza Park here at this kind of viewpoint where you can look out over Lakewood Bay, some people might think they're seeing all of Lake Oswego, but this is just one bay that's part of the entire lake, which is made up of the main lake and a series of other bays and canals that we're covering completely on the channel.
And you'll notice right on the right, there aren't that many condominiums right on the lake, but these are, and they have some great views. Lakewood Bay.
In selling real estate in this community for almost 20 years, we run into people often that are looking to downsize, and it's not always easy to find options that work great for them. So if you happen to be a person that's considering that, or if you're just interested in learning more about what's for sale on the lake or elsewhere in Lake Oswego, we'd be happy to provide you with a list of homes that are for sale. The inventory always changes, but I'm easy to find. You can reach out to me at the number that you see on screen. You can call or text, and we'd love to talk to you. Okay, so to help you further understand Lakewood Bay and kind of orient yourself, we pointed out earlier that the homes on one side of this bay are on North Shore Road. The homes that you see off to my right here and slightly behind us, those are on Cabana Lane, and something that makes these homes interesting, in addition to just how close they are to downtown Lake Oswego. It's an easy walk from any of these homes to downtown Lake Oswego, and some of those things that we just mentioned a moment ago, most of these homes are not actually on concrete foundations. They're on stilts or pilings, and they're right out over the water. It makes them feel like you're actually in a floating home. You can find those elsewhere in Portland, in some places on the Willamette River, even out on the Columbia River, but it gives them a really unique feeling, and many of them have boathouses incorporated into the homes, so you can just drive your boat, you know, to and from wherever you're going, just right out of your living room or your backyard, basically.
These are definitely low bank homes.
Yeah, this is right low. When we talk about low bank homes in Lake Oswego, or medium bank or high bank homes, you're right. This is as low as it gets. Like, you're actually on the water, and every one of them is unique. You won't ever find two that are identical. So it's a pretty cool address to live on Cabana Lane.
So in addition to the waterfront homes that are on Lakewood Bay, there are also 2 boat easements. So some people can get access to the lake that way.
And we actually made a whole video about boat easements on Lake Oswego, where we explain how they give residents access to the lake here if you don't live in a waterfront home, but your home is in the right boundaries to qualify to use a boat easement. Lakewood Bay here has 2 really great ones that we'll show you. That's another way to get a boat on the lake. They all have waiting lists to get an actual boat slip, but they also have racks for canoes usually, and stand-up paddle boards, and some have more space than others, you know, to gather there and have parties and hang out and things like that. But it's a really great feature of the lake if you're interested in actually getting on the water and you don't live in a lakefront home.
Before we finish our tour of Lakewood Bay, we're going to point the boat down a really unique inlet here. As you look at these homes, the ones on the right are located on Cabana Lane. The homes on the left are on North Shore Road. And as with all homes on Lake Oswego, there's an incredible array of architectural styles. They're all unique, and this is a really cool spot to live on the lake.
Before we continue our tour and leave Lakewood Bay here, Jane has a really special family memory that occurred almost right here, right, honey?
I don't know if it was a family memory or family calamity, but I was trying, this was a few years ago, and I was trying to wakeboard, right? I was trying to wakeboard in the bay. All the restaurants were full. It was still light out, and I'm trying to get up, and somehow the rope caught on the propeller.
I was not driving the boat.
You were,
but our boat captain at the time accidentally like drifted over the rope and
It
wrapped it around the
So
prop.
I let go of that rope really quickly and got back into the boat, and of course we couldn't drive the boat. So the Lake Patrol, which does a great job, towed us. We had the tow of shame. Towed us out of here with all the alarms and everything, lights going. It was hysterical.
Yeah, they had red lights on, and I remember asking the Lake Patrol guy that day if it happened often because we were so embarrassed. And he said, "Oh yeah," he said, "Yeah, you're my fourth tow today."
Yeah. I felt very grateful to be the fourth tow. Anyway, great memories.
As part of our ongoing series of lake tour videos about Lake Oswego, today we're going to show you a really magical part of the lake called Half Moon Bay. Now, Half Moon Bay sits right in between Lakewood Bay and the main lake. As you're driving down North Shore Road, you can see part of it from the bridge, but the best way to experience this part of the lake fully is from a boat, and we're going to show it to you that way. Remember, this is a no-wake zone. Boats can only go 5 miles per hour as you pass through this area, and I think that makes it even more special. Come on, let's go.
Okay, as we're leaving Lakewood Bay, we've got to slow down. We're entering a no-wake zone here, and we're about to pass under the bridge on North Shore Road, which opens into a really beautiful place on the lake called Half Moon Bay. We're heading into it right now.
This is really a magical little bay. It's just tranquil, and some of our favorite homes are here. There's one on the right that is just storybook. Beautiful.
That's actually one of your all-time favorite homes on the lake, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and you'll notice as we pass through here, many of these homes also are low bank homes. We've been talking a lot about low bank, medium bank, high bank homes, but some of them are more elevated. So you do have some here that sit up a little bit higher above the water. It's hard to see some of these homes if you're not actually in a boat. The streets that can get you really close, North Shore Road, which we just passed under when we went through under that bridge.
And this is a street called North Shore Circle. Some people use this street to access some of these homes that you see here on Half Moon Bay. On the left-hand side of our boat, there's another neighborhood street called Lake Shore Road.
Those are the streets that border Half Moon Bay, but it's just an idyllic place on the lake. It's kind of magical when you pass through here.
It's always quiet, and later in the night, it just is. It's little glittering lights out sometimes, and they have outdoor eating areas on decks that
great
are
outdoor
really
living areas with these
beautiful,
houses, right?
and gardens.
To spend
really
a day
special.
in town in the summertime and then come home under the stars or under a full moon and pass through this bay, it's really magical is the only word I can think of. It's probably apropos. One of my favorite things anywhere on Lake Oswego is the view that you get when you're passing through Half Moon Bay, just ahead of where we are right now, and you're heading out into the main lake, and you turn this corner and you see the whole lake open up to you, leaving Half Moon Bay into main lake.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Yeah, we've seen bald eagles out here. We've seen it's just flying right overhead, and it's the wildlife and the very natural and beautiful.
We'll give you a great look at this bay here from the air, just to show you how cool it is. This is a favorite spot every summer. There's a big concert that happens here called Hot August Nights, and it's a party on the water right here. It's a fan favorite for people that live here to come in your boat and go to that concert.
It's basically a concert on one of these lawns, and people bring their boats up, and they all moor together, and it's a big summer concert.
Yeah.
In today's lake tour video, we're going to show you a really idyllic part of Lake Oswego, the canals at the southern end of the lake. Now, there are two main canals. One of them is called the Kelok Canal. The other is called the Blue Heron Canal. But it's really hard to see the waterfront side of these homes because of the way the neighborhood streets run through this area. So we're going to show you some rarely ever seen footage from the canals that'll give you a really good feeling for what it's like to live on this part of the lake. And along the way, we're also going to give you a peek at some spectacular luxury homes. It all starts now. Let's go.
Okay, we're really excited to take you into a different part of the lake that many people are not familiar with. You can see behind us, we're leaving the main lake of Lake Oswego right now, and we're about to enter what's called the Kelok Canal.
Yes, and to give you a little bit of reference here, on the left side is Maple Circle, and on the right side is Allen Road.
Yeah, and we're just about to pass under the bridge on South Shore Boulevard here, and on the other side of it, we'll be in the Kelok Canal. People that live here refer to this as the Kelok Canal, and it gets narrower. You live closer to your neighbors. The homes aren't actually like on the water, not like the homes on Cabana Lane that we talked about in another video, but they're very close to the water. These are very low bank homes, and you can see some of them even have swimming ladders. Almost all of them have private boat houses, or at the very least, they've got dedicated boat docks. But the thing about this part of the lake that I think probably stands out more than anything is just the feeling of it. Yeah. It's a completely different feeling to live on one of these canals. You're away from the main lake. You don't have as much boat traffic. You don't have as much wind noise.
Yeah.
You do live closer to your neighbors, so for some people that's a plus, maybe for others it's a minus, but you have a real sense of community here with your neighbors on both sides of your home, and also you can see them right across the canal.
And their outdoor living space is beautiful, and many have kayaks. You can see they can launch their kayak right into the canal and go and stand up paddleboards.
Oh yeah, it's great to kayak and
magic.
Stand up paddleboard in here.
Yeah.
The further we go, we're more or less heading west right now, the further we go, the narrower the canal gets. It gets narrower and shallower as we go, but it's really picturesque back here.
Yeah.
Okay, we turned the boat around before we got to the very end of the Kelok Canal, which actually goes past Bryant Road. And had we gone all the way to the end, we would have been able to show you two boat easements that are little known that are down there. One of them is called Woodside Community Circle, and the other one is called Bryant Park. They're kind of like sneaker boat easements.
We made a whole video about all the boat easements on Lake Oswego and all the boat easements on the canals and everything. So if you want to check that out, you can learn about all the boat easements on Lake Oswego.
It's the next best way to get onto the water if you don't live in a waterfront home, whether that's on one of these canals or on the main lake or on one of the bays that we've covered in all of our videos. The next best way to get onto the water on Lake Oswego is through a neighborhood boat easement. If you live in Lake Oswego and you're considering moving into a waterfront home, or maybe you live elsewhere in the Portland metro area, or even completely outside of the area, and you're researching Lake Oswego and trying to understand where are these waterfront homes, it can be a little bit confusing on these canals to actually figure that out. On this one, for example, on Kelok, on one side of this canal, Kelok Road runs the length of the canal from South Shore Boulevard to Bryant Road. That's easy enough. But on the other side, the street names change. So when you turn off of South Shore Boulevard, Canal Circle covers part of this canal, but then it changes to Lake Haven Drive. There are waterfront homes on Lake Haven Drive. And then going further, street name changes again to Sarah Hill Lane, but Sarah Hill doesn't connect to Lake Haven. You can only access Sarah Hill off of Bryant Road. So you've got waterfront homes on this canal off of all of those neighborhood streets, but it can be hard to figure out where they are because it's not obvious when you're on the street side, the non-water side of the canal here. So we can help you figure that out and untangle all that. If you'd ever like to have an exploratory conversation about waterfront homes that are for sale on these canals or any of the bays or even the main lake, I'm easy to find. Feel free to reach out to me. We'll flash the number again on the screen. You can call or text to that number. We'd love to talk to you.
As we're leaving the Kelok Canal now, we get an amazing view looking back down the main lake. Wow. Now to the right of the canal, there are some spectacular luxury homes that face the main lake. Take a look at these. On the other side of the Kelok Canal, off of South Shore Boulevard, there's a neighborhood street called Maple Circle. Now, this is a spectacular part of the lake. Take a look at some of these homes. Out at the end of this peninsula, there's one of the absolute most stunning homes on Lake Oswego that recently sold for $14 million. This is what we'd call a dream waterfront property, and it sits on a huge lot. As we make our way around Maple Circle, heading back towards South Shore Boulevard, take a look at some of the other homes on this side of the peninsula. Okay, the peninsula that you see on the left is accessed by a neighborhood street called Alder Circle. Here's a look at one side of this peninsula. At the end of this peninsula, there's a custom contemporary home that has an amazing amount of lake frontage and a spectacular view. Now we'll give you a look here at the Alder Point boat easement. If you ever want to see all of the boat easements on Lake Oswego, we made an entire video about that you can find elsewhere on this channel.
Okay, as we continue our canal tour of Lake Oswego, we've made our way over to the Blue Heron Canal. Now, we're not in the canal yet. We're still on Main Lake. But again, as a reference point, we want to point out here that
the homes that you see to my right here, these are on Alder Circle.
And the homes to my left, these are on a neighborhood street called Greenbrier. So that should help you orient yourself to where we actually are on the lake here.
And right on the left here is the Blue Heron Easement, which is a fun easement, lots of boats and stand-up paddleboards and all. And then the Blue Heron Canal is underneath that bridge under South Shore. We're not going to go down there, but it's a lot like Kelok, except for the feel and the canal and all is a lot like Kelok.
Yeah, from a lifestyle standpoint, very similar feeling. Many of the homes are low bank homes. We've talked about that a lot in these lake videos, but one thing that's worth pointing out about the Blue Heron Canal is the homes on one side of the canal sit up much higher because the topography changes here, and that's because there's a mountain behind us that actually it's one of the largest neighborhoods in Lake Oswego. It's called the Palisades. That starts right behind us here, and so the land kind of rises quickly on one side of the Blue Heron Canal, and it does create a different feeling for the homes that are on that side. Many of them are much higher. They have more steps down to the water, but they also have views in some cases, which is kind of a cool thing. But it is different than Kelok. Kelok, is all kind of the same level for the most part.
Much more low bank.
Yeah, and many of these homes also have really large lots. So, the backyards are big. There's plenty of space for outdoor living areas and, beautiful landscaping. And yet you're still on the water and it's quiet and protected. Yep. So it's different kind of waterfront setting than the homes on the main lake. But you made the point earlier that from an investment standpoint, the canals tend to be more affordable. That can be a better alternative for some folks if you're looking to get onto the water, but you haven't found a home on the main lake that works for you, or maybe it's a budgetary concern. That's another reason to check out the canals.
Another thing I love about living here is if you want to take your bike out and ride around the lake, you go over all these bridges and you get views of the water in all different areas, and they're beautiful. And in the morning, especially over the weekend, it's not crowded and you can get great views of the lake.
Yeah, there aren't too many places in Lake Oswego where you can see the lake as you drive around it. So those bridges that you're referring to on South Shore Boulevard, those are places where you can get a really great look down these canals, and you can also see out across the main lake in some cases. So again, if you're driving around the area and just familiarizing yourself more with Lake Oswego, check that out. One of our goals with these lake tour videos that we've made is to try and help you get a better understanding of where these waterfront homes are located in Lake Oswego, because it can be a little bit confusing. On Blue Heron Canal, for example, the homes on one side of the canal are actually on 3 different street names. So turning off of South Shore Boulevard on one side of the canal, you've got waterfront homes on Cedar Road, and then further down the canal, that changes to a little neighborhood street that forks off of Cedar called Wren Court, and then beyond Wren Court, you've got more waterfront homes on Cardinal Drive. On the other side of the canal, again, turning off of South Shore Boulevard, you've got Blue Heron Road from the South Shore Boulevard side, but then on the other side, which you can only access off of a neighborhood street called Royce Way, because Blue Heron Road doesn't go all the way through. It's called Blue Heron Way. So that can get a bit confusing to untangle and figure out, like, where are these waterfront homes? We can help if you'd ever like to have a conversation about that, whether you live here already and you're thinking about moving into a waterfront home and just wanting to learn more about that, or you're considering relocating from somewhere else outside of the area. We'd love to talk. We'll flash the number again on screen. You can call or text me there. We'd love to talk to you.
In today's video, we're going to introduce you to a lesser known part of Lake Oswego. It's called West Bay.
Yes, this was just the most beautiful and peaceful area of the lake. You can stand up paddleboard and kayak here. It's great.
This is Jane and Will Fendon for Live Love Lake Oswego. We're going to show it all to you right now.
West Bay is at the south end of Lake Oswego. It's just beyond the Lake Grove Swim Park and south of South Shore Boulevard.
If you're unfamiliar with this part of the lake, West Bay is bounded by 4 major neighborhood streets: Lakeview Boulevard, Grafe Circle, West Bay Road, and Bryant Road. As you look around at the homes on West Bay, it's important to note you can buy a lot more for your money on this part of the lake relative to what homes cost on the main part of Oswego Lake. And as you look specifically at the homes on Lakeview Boulevard, many of them are on unusually large lots. There's an incredible variety of architecture that dates back to some of the original homes that were built here. There's many that have been renovated completely, and quite a few that have been removed altogether from their original lots and rebuilt as custom homes, brand new.
Well, if you're not from here, you may not know there's a little street called Grafe Circle right off South Shore. Check out some of the homes here. They're just beautiful.
Grafe Circle is just a short little one-way neighborhood street that rejoins South Shore Boulevard right near the bridge that you pass under when you leave West Bay to go out into the main part of Oswego Lake, where you can do all the things that everybody loves about the waterfront lifestyle here, like wake surfing or tubing. Some people still water ski. We love to go downtown in the spring and the summer to go to the famous Lake Oswego Farmers Market, hit up some of the great restaurants that we have in Lake Oswego here, maybe take in a movie, or my personal favorite, salt and straw ice cream. It's all awesome.
And you can come back under the stars in your boat, which is a magical thing to do. And don't forget about the amazing fireworks on the 4th of July on the lake. It's beautiful. And now we're on the other side of West Bay. We're at the corner of Bryant Road and West Bay Road, and we're standing in front of a brand new home under construction.
Yeah, this is a waterfront home that's being built by Renaissance Homes. They're the #1 luxury home builder in Lake Oswego, and they've removed a much older home that was here to build a brand new home on spec. We don't have confirmed pricing for this home yet, but if you want more information about it, we'd be happy to provide that. What we do know is that it's going to be a 5-bedroom home, 5.5 bathrooms, just over 4,000 square feet. I think the exact number is 4,047 square feet, and it has a 3-car garage. But let's take a look at the backyard. That's the waterfront side of the house, and it's really cool. Check it out. So here's a peek at what this home's going to look like on the waterfront side when Renaissance Homes finishes construction. But as you look around this area, you'll notice that the homes at this end of West Bay along Bryant Road, they're not on as large a lots as some of those homes that we showed you on Lakeview Boulevard. And the same is true
for the most part, for all the homes that are on West Bay Road. You'll see there's a really large variety of architectural styles here. You can even see some of the older bungalow style homes that remain intact, but there's also new homes that have been remodeled, or homes like this one that are brand new. There's still a lot of variety in terms of the architectural styles of all the homes that you find on West Bay, but it's just a great place to live on the lake. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's close to everything.
Yeah, you're right on the lake, but you're really close to everything. You're close to Dino's Pizzeria, a local favorite restaurant, and Aju Tram, and Cafe La Provence, and Hefe, and Baba Cahen, and there's Zupan's Market, and a bunch of other great restaurants on Lower Boones Ferry.
Yeah, and just beyond all of those, the freeways are right here. Easy access to I-5 and Highway 217. You can get anywhere you need to go in the Portland metro area pretty easily from right here, including Portland's International Airport.
My name's Will Fendon, and this is Live, Love Lake Oswego, the first real estate channel solely dedicated to all things Lake Oswego. If you'd ever like to have an exploratory conversation about real estate, please feel free to call or text me directly at the number on screen. But right now, my wife Jane and I are going to take you on an epic tour of all the boat easements on Lake Oswego.
Okay, by the end of this video, we hope we can answer every question you ever wanted to know about boat easements in Lake Oswego.
Now, boat easements are different than the swim parks. There are two swim parks on Lake Oswego. One is the Lake Grove Swim Park, and the other is the Lake Oswego Swim Park. We know because our kids grew up using these swim parks during the summer. It's so much fun. We also made a whole video about the swim parks. Check it out.
But when it comes to boat easements, it's important to understand that unless you live in a waterfront home that has a boathouse or a boat dock out in front of it, the only other way to get a boat onto Lake Oswego is by becoming a member of a neighborhood boat easement. And to do that, your property has to have deeded access to a neighborhood easement like the one that you see behind us here. This is the South Shore Glen easement. We're members of this one, so we've got a key. Come on, let's go.
Let's go.
In case you didn't know, Lake Oswego is a completely private lake. There's no public access, so if you don't use one of the swim parks or own a home on the lake, one of the most popular ways to get on the water is through a neighborhood boat easement.
Okay, our easement here has great storage for kayaks, canoes, stand-up paddleboards, and South Shore Glen has 7 boat slips. Now, in selling real estate here for almost 20 years, one of the questions that I get more than all others is, if you're not looking to buy a home on Lake Oswego, how do you actually get one of these boat slips? They're super popular. And to my knowledge right now, every boat easement around the lake has a waiting list.
Yeah, we were on a waiting list for quite a while to get a boat slip. It took us about 9 years to get a boat slip because someone forgot to pay the annual dues.
Come on. I swear, she's never going to let me forget that.
Okay, but let me
I
explain.
missed one payment.
Let me explain the dues. So you join your easement, you pay a one-time joining fee. Then annually, in order to keep using the easement and keep your membership going, you pay a fee annually. And then once your number comes up for the boat slip, you pay for your boat slip annually. And then there's some additional fees from the Lake Corporation.
Yeah, the Lake Corporation manages the entire lake. They do a lot to keep this lake as beautiful as it is. If you want to understand how the fees work, every boat easement on the lake has slightly different fees. So they've got a great website, which you can link to in the description below for this video, if you want to go there and study up on that and even further understand how that works. But right now, we're going to take the cover off the boat and we're going to take you guys on a tour of every boat easement on Lake Oswego. It's going to be super fun. So let's go.
Woo!
The South Shore Glen easement is located at 1409 Terrace Drive. Now, just to reiterate, it's got 7 boat slips and racks for 12 canoes, plus some additional storage for stand-up paddle boards, no restroom, and no electricity down here. Okay, we are underway. Ha! Could we have asked for a better day? No, I don't think so. Next stop, Oswego Lake Villas. The address is 1335 Lakefront Drive. They've got 7 boat slips and enough canoe racks for 30 canoes. Extra space for some stand-up paddle boards, a restroom, and electricity. Next stop, 300 Ridgeway Road. It's the Lakewood Yacht Club. They've got 12 boat slips, enough storage for about 18 canoes, and some stand-up paddle boards, a bathroom, and electricity. Moving on, off the right-hand side of the boat here, you can just get a glimpse of the prestigious Lakewood Peninsula. Okay, our next stop is 886 Lakeshore Road. Now this is an interesting easement because it's actually broken into 2 parts. Southview Club number 1 has some storage for kayaks and stand-up paddleboards, and they've got this great secluded sun deck, which is also a nice swimming platform. But to show you Southview Club number 2, we've got to go all the way out and around the tip of the Lakewood Peninsula, which you can see to the right of our boat here. FYI, this bay is also the site for a hugely popular floating rock concert called Hot August Nights. As we continue towards Southview Club number 2, we're about to turn into one of the prettiest sections of the lake here. This is called Half Moon Bay. Now this is a no wake zone. So during the summer, when people take their boats into downtown Lake Oswego to go to the farmer's market, to go to restaurants, to go shopping, everybody has to slow down passing through here. And it's absolutely beautiful. Southview Club number 2 is located at 1113 Lakeshore Road. They've got 3 boat slips, there's a swimming platform here, and this is a great place to launch a kayak or a stand-up paddleboard. We've passed through the narrowest section now, and we're on the other side of Half Moon Bay. That bridge that you see in the distance, that's North Shore Road, and when we cruise under it, we'll leave Half Moon Bay and enter Lakewood Bay. The next stop on our boat easement tour is 635 North Shore Road. This is North Lake Club. There are 6 boat slips here and racking for about 4 canoes and some stand-up paddle boards. It's a really great swimming platform and sun deck with electricity, and it's easy to access because it's so close to North Shore Road. We've got Lakewood Bay all to ourselves at the moment. Crazy popular anymore.
So you might be wondering, who maintains these easements? Well, at our easement, the members do. Every year, right before summer starts, we have an annual work party where we clean up the deck, we pull weeds, we clean up the boats and all, and we make it look great.
I think the first time we came to one of those work parties, after hiking down here about 200 steps, that's the first time we realized there's no bathroom. So I would say, plan accordingly.
Okay, let's go back to the easement tour.
We've made our way all the way around Lakewood Bay now. And those homes that you see just beyond the boat, those are located on Cabana Point Road. Now we're headed to 140 Cabana Point Road because that's the location of the Lakewood Bay Community Club. This is one of the nicer easements. It's got 14 boat slips, and they've got ample storage for canoes. You see them lined up along the fence there, kayaks, lots of space for stand-up paddle boards. They've got a huge sun deck down here with a covered area, a diving board. They've got restrooms here and electricity. This one's pretty deluxe. We're going to say goodbye to Lakewood Bay now and head back to the main lake. To do that, we've got to pass through Half Moon Bay again. This just never gets old. Okay, we're leaving Half Moon Bay here and entering the main lake. Way out in the distance, you can see the Forest Hills easement. The address is 1310 North Shore Road, and that's our next stop. This is a massively popular easement. They've got 20 boat slips here, tons of space for stand-up paddleboards, kayaks, canoes. They've even got 15 storage lockers, a bathroom, electricity, a private swimming area, and get this, Wi-Fi. These homes are on the north side of Lake Oswego. One of the things our clients who live along here really love is they get great natural light because of the southern exposure. We're headed straight toward Jansen Island. This is the location of one of the most prestigious private estates anywhere in Lake Oswego. Just beyond the bridge over to Jansen Island is the Uplands Easement. Located at 1880 North Shore Road, they've got 10 boat slips here and enough rack space for 74 kayaks, stand-up paddleboards, and canoes. It's also a no-wake zone, so it feels very private and secluded back here. The boats that you see anchored up ahead are in an area that locals refer to as the swimming hole. On a hot summer day, you get so many boats anchored out here, you can almost walk across them. It's party central. Okay, up ahead, our next easement is located at 1565 Bayview Lane. This is Village on the Lake. They've got 25 boat slips here and enough rack space for 42 kayaks, stand-up paddleboards, and canoes. But I love the decks. Look at this. It's one of the most picturesque easements anywhere on the lake. They've got several enclosed swimming areas. They've got a diving board. They've got a restroom. There's electricity down here. That comes in really handy in the summer. Okay, if you're a person who's already living in Lake Oswego and you're considering a cross-town move to get into a home that has boat easement privileges, or maybe you're somewhere else in the Portland metro area or even out of state, we know that when it comes to boat slips, it can seem kind of overwhelming because it feels like, what are the chances that your number's ever going to come up when all of these boat easements have waiting lists? Well, don't lose hope. We've actually got a great local tip about that.
So the Lake Corporation actually allows two parties to do a boat share. Both parties have to be members of the same easement, but here's a way both parties can get on the lake quicker. One could be waiting for their boat slip, for their number to come up to get a boat slip. The other could own a boat, and the two come together and they get on the lake quicker in a boat share.
Yeah, people can share a boat that way. It's great. You can actually find out more information about that on the Lake Corporation website. There's also another feature on that website where you can look up easement eligibility by just keying in the first few numbers of a home's address. You can find out if any home in this town has access privileges to one or more boat easements. It's really handy.
Okay, let's get back in the lake.
We're heading for 2380 Summit Drive now. It's the small but mighty Summit Court easement. They've got 2 boat slips and a really great central location on the main lake. As we make our way around the lake, you've always got to remember to keep the boat on the outside of the orange buoys as we head toward the Springbrook Recreation easement. This one's located at 2720 Summit Drive. It's got 5 boat slips. They've got a private restroom down here, electricity, and they've got a really cool swimming deck with a lawn, barbecue, some picnic tables, and a gazebo. As we move on, our next stop is 3050 Lakeview Boulevard. This is the Gooden easement. It's got 9 boat slips and enough rack space for 35 stand-up paddleboards, kayaks, and canoes. They've got a bathroom down here. They've got a play structure, a great grassy area for picnicking, and a private enclosed swimming area. All of the homes that you see along here are located on Lakeview Boulevard, and they're some of the most beautiful homes on the lake. To the right of the boat here, you can see the Lake Grove Swim Park. I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for this place because it's where our twin boys learned how to swim. It's also a great place to watch the 4th of July fireworks. Our next stop is the Lakeview Recreation Club. This one's located at 3951 South Shore Boulevard, and it's easily accessible from the street. It's got 16 boat slips, and they've got enough rack space for 43 stand-up paddleboards, kayaks, and canoes. They've got a restroom here and electricity. As we pull away from the Lakeview Recreation Club, we are treated to a spectacular view looking back down the main lake. You know, I remember for the longest time, I mean, this is going back more than 20 years now, we were just dreaming about what it would be like to live in this town and to raise a family. And I just used to stay up at night into the wee hours of the morning, just surfing the internet to find as much information as I could about Lake Oswego.
You know, taking our twin boys on the boat over to the farmer's market, to the Lake Theater, and to Stickman Restaurant, so much fun.
Yeah, it just seems like in the summertime, there's just always something going on this lake. There's concerts, there's special events. The 4th of July here is spectacular over the water.
So much fun. But sometimes it's just really nice to take an evening cruise with friends, just like I did last night. It's magic.
Oh, and don't forget wake surfing.
Don't you dare show that footage.
We won't. All right, so we're almost done, but let's get back to the boat tour. We're at the southern end of the lake here, and to get to the next 2 easements on the tour, we've actually got to go down one of these canals. It's called the Kelok Canal. The Woodside Circle easement is located at 4260 Woodside Circle. They've got space for 21 boats and some storage for kayaks, stand-up paddleboards, and canoes. They don't have a bathroom, but they do have electricity. Right next door, the Bryant Park easement is located at 18108 Pioneer Court. They've got 6 boat slips and some additional space for kayaks and paddleboards. We're making our way around a buoy here as we head for 16848 Alder Circle. This is the Alder Point easement. It's one of the best places on the lake to watch 4th of July fireworks. They've also got a dedicated swim dock with a built-in kayak launch. They've got 6 boat slips and enough rack space for about 24 kayaks, stand-up paddleboards, and canoes. They've got running water here, electricity, and a restroom. Our next destination isn't too far away. It's the Blue Heron easement. It's located at 3215 South Shore Boulevard, and they've got 24 boat slips. They've also got a lot of extra storage along here for stand-up paddleboards, canoes, and kayaks. They've got electricity, and they've got a restroom. As we head toward the next easement, the homes that you see along here are on the south side of the lake, which is characterized in many places by a very high bank. That requires many homes to have stairways or funicular trams to get down to the water. Turning the corner here at Phantom Bluff, we're headed for the Palisades easement. It's located at 2041 Cedar Court. They've got 8 boat slips here, plenty of space for stand-up paddleboards, kayaks, and canoes. It's a really long walk to get down to this easement, but it's one of the more picturesque and private ones on the lake. And we're back. I'm loving this boat tour.
Yeah, me too. Okay, this is a little bit random, but this is a private lake. So you might be wondering, how do you get your boat on and off the lake? And where do you get gas? So there's only one boat ramp and one gas station. It's at the Lake Corporation headquarters.
Wow, we have covered a lot of ground today, but before we wrap up, just a few more things we want to mention. If you're somebody who's actually considering buying a home on the lake, it's important to know that when a home on the water sells, the buyer is actually responsible to pay what's called a transfer fee to the lake corporation. If you want to understand how that works, feel free to give me a call. I'd love to chat with you about that. Or you can always get on the Lake Corporation website. There's lots of helpful information there about all associated fees with the lake. There's also a handful of other lesser known ways to get on the lake that we wanted to mention to you. For example, on McVeigh Boulevard, there's a little office building. It's called the Oswego Landing and Private Marina. They actually have a private marina there with a small number of boat slips. They've got a waiting list also, but if you're looking for other options to get on the lake, you can find them on the internet. That might be another one to consider.
So, and also Villas on the Lake condominiums at State Street and McVeigh Avenue have some boat slips there too that are available.
On the south side of the lake, off of a street called Terrace Drive, there's actually a completely private and virtually unknown easement. It's called the Lakeside Terrace Easement. Man, this is one of the fanciest easements on the lake. It's only 11 or 12 homes, if I remember correctly, that have access to that easement, but they've got a gated entrance, they've got their own funicular tram, and their boat slips and their whole setup at the waterfront. It is beautiful. I'm Will Fendon for Live, Love Lake Oswego, the first real estate channel solely dedicated to all things Lake Oswego. Now, we're very excited about this video today because we're about to tell you everything you'd ever need to know about how to buy a boat for Lake Oswego. Believe it or not, there are some special rules you need to understand. And you know, in selling real estate in this community for almost 20 years, I have a lot of conversations with buyers and sellers about all of the rules around Lake Oswego as they relate to real estate, because Lake Oswego is a completely private lake, and there are many things it's important to understand if you're investing in a home here. So if you'd ever like to talk with me about any of that, I'm easy to find. Please feel free to reach out to me. You can call or text me directly at the number that you see on screen. But right now, we're going to jump to one of the premier boat retailers anywhere in the Pacific Northwest. My wife, Jane, is standing by. Let's rock and roll.
Hi, we're so excited to be at Active Water Sports here in Oregon City. And I'm standing here with Chantel, and she's going to tell us a little bit about AWS and some fun things.
So Active Water Sports opened in 1982. I've been here for about 10 years, and we are growing fast. We now have 4 locations in Oregon, one in Central Oregon we just opened in Redmond, and then we've got where we are here, Oregon City, which is one of the original locations. We have a Portland location close to downtown, and then we have our Canby location, which is a huge service center with a ton of storage.
Fantastic. This showroom is so amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you sell here at AWS?
Yeah, so at this Oregon City location, we specialize in the Malibu and Axis brands. Our Canby location has Nautique and Barletta pontoon boats, and then our Portland location has Supra and Moomba boats. So we have 6 of the top brands in the industry, and we've split them up by location. And then every location has a little bit of pro shop and some service, but really everything that you're gonna need to be out on the water.
That's amazing. So tell us more about where people use these boats up in the Portland area.
Yeah, so the Willamette River is definitely one of our most popular spots, the Columbia River as well. And then people take them out to Central Oregon, Billy Chinook, Detroit Lake, and then Hag Lake if you're on the other side of town.
A lot of our viewers are from Lake Oswego because that's what our channel's all about, is Lake Oswego. Do you sell a lot of boats to people in Lake Oswego?
Oh yeah.
That's super cool. I know they have a lot of restrictions.
There are a lot of restrictions, have to do with the length of the boat, the weight of the boat, and some of the devices that you can use on the boat. The best way to see that, though, is to actually be on the water.
Can we do that?
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
But wait, before we hit the water, I need to show you some of the fun stuff we sell.
Great. Okay, now we're in the boardroom.
serious stuff.
This is very serious business. Let's talk about some of the fun toys.
Yeah, so wake surfing is definitely the most popular sport for the kind of boats that we sell. And so we've got a ton of different options for that. We also have wakeboards and water skis if people wanted to do that, knee boards and paddle boards, and really anything you need for the water.
I am ready to get out there.
Let's
What
get on
about
the
you?
water.
Let's go.
Okay, I'm back. It looked like you guys were having way too much fun at the AWS showroom.
Yeah, it was a blast. That was so much fun.
Okay, well, while we're waiting for Chantel, I wanted to point out here, these boat docks behind us will be immediately recognizable to anybody who lives in Lake Oswego. But if you're learning about the town, this is where all the boats come in during the summertime so that people can go to places like Millennium Plaza or restaurants, or the Lake Theater is right here. The Lake Theater and Cafe is very popular. And in selling real estate here for a very long time, we talk to people a lot about the waterfront lifestyle. Lake Oswego is all about that, and there's different ways you can get onto the water here. We made a whole video about how the boat easements work. That's another way to get onto the lake if you don't live in a waterfront home. So if you want to learn more about that, you can check out that video elsewhere on the channel. But we have a lot of great memories from this area right here.
This is where our family would come. We'd go to the Lake Theater, or we'd go to the farmer's market, or they have movies up in Millennium Park and concerts. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, but today we're super excited. I think Chantel has a surprise for us. I'm not sure what she's got up her sleeve, but our ride should be here any minute.
Okay, that's gotta be them in a killer boat.
Okay, the weather doesn't get any better than this on Lake Oswego.
We're so excited to be on the boat with Chantel and our special guest.
I want to introduce you to Matt. He is the president of Active Water Sports.
Hi, I'm Matt Radich, president of Active Water Sports. I've been with Active Water Sports since 1992. Actually grew up in Lake Oswego on the lake. Now I live in the Evergreen neighborhood and down here at the Lakewood Bay Easement. Let's go for a lake tour.
When you stand in Millennium Plaza Park and you look out across Lakewood Bay, where we are here, you might think you're seeing all of Lake Oswego, but you're not. There's so much more to this lake than that. Right now we're passing through one of our favorite stretches of water. This is called Half Moon Bay. You can see on the right and left there are some beautiful homes as we glide through here. But when we turn the corner and you get that first look down the entire length of the main lake, it's spectacular.
Okay, so now we want to do a deeper dive on all the rules and regulations that come into play if you're a person who is thinking about getting a boat for the first time on Lake Oswego, or maybe you're thinking about upgrading a boat. This would be a good refresher, and Chantel and Matt know as much as anybody about that.
So there are specifications for Lake Oswego, what you can and can't have, how long the boat is, and the weight, and Matt can dive into the details of that.
To put a boat on Lake Oswego, it can have a maximum length, or a standard boat, a maximum length of 22 feet and 3,500 pounds. So it has to be at or under 3,500 pound weight limit. For pontoon boats, they will go a little bit longer. You can go 22.5 foot on a pontoon boat because typically they're lighter, but those are the specs. 3,500 pound weight limit is the maximum.
Now, when you talk about that, my brother bought a boat recently. You guys were very helpful to him when he was doing his research. And I was surprised, to learn about how many different options there are. When we talk about Lake Oswego, are there a lot of different brands that can meet the specifications to use them on this lake?
Right now in the towboat market, so like the wake boat market, there's actually only one boat that actually meets the specifications for Lake Oswego without any kind of special model or anything like that. So currently the only one that has a manufacturer listed weight at 3,500 pounds is the Axis A20, which is the boat we're in now.
Okay.
We also have a couple ski boats that are available. This is a V-drive, so if you're looking for something to wake surf or wakeboard, this is going to be better, but we do have a couple of ski boats as well. And then pontoons, we do have quite a few pontoons that would fit on the lake as well.
Yeah, we noticed when we were at the showroom, there are some really beautiful pontoon boats over there. We're starting to see a lot more of them on the lake.
Yeah.
Are they becoming more popular?
Absolutely, yeah. We're definitely gaining some ground with Barletta. It's a newer brand for us, and we've had them for about 3 or 4 years. And they've done really well, and they are getting more and more popular on the lake. They're just great for cruising and very comfortable and nice smooth ride.
We are loving this boat as we cruise along the north side of Lake Oswego here. Up ahead in the distance on the left, that's Jansen Island. It's home to one of the most prestigious estates anywhere in Lake Oswego. On the right, just catching a glimpse of the Uplands boat easement. It's one of the most popular neighborhood boat easements in town. And you know, when you talk about the waterfront lifestyle in Lake Oswego, this is what it's all about. Being out here on the lake on a boat like this with friends and family, just loving life as we drift into another part of the lake we love. Locals call this the Party Cove.
It's so much fun to be out on the lake here with Chantel and Matt. And Matt has so many fun memories. Can you share some of us from growing up here?
Really, you know, as you know from being out here, like kind of every memory is fun when you're out on the lake here. But it was a different feel. Like this whole neighborhood we're looking at here, this whole dock, none of that was here.
Yeah.
So it was kind of quieter on the lake, I would say. It was definitely more vacation-like, I think, on the lake.
Cottages.
But yeah, smaller cottages, a lot of smaller houses back then. But
yeah.
But it has that same magic every time I come out.
And this area we're in right now has been the same forever, right?
It's been that way for a long time. Yeah, you hear this area being referred to as like Party Cove here.
Yeah.
But this is, if you want to have a social time hanging out on the boat, this is definitely where you want to come. Throw the anchor out, tie up with friends. It's a great spot.
Okay, so now we want to expand a little bit more on the boat that we're in here. I mean, we figure be with Chantel and the president, there's got to be something special about this boat. Can you guys tell us more?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a 2024 Axis A20. It does meet all the specifications. So it's 3,500 pounds and it's 20 feet, has a 98-inch beam. For being a 20-foot boat, this does have a lot of good space in it. It's got great storage. Some awesome features specific to Lake Oswego. Putting the tower down is really easy, and it falls backwards, or it goes backwards. And so when you're driving and you're going under the bridges and you need to put the tower down, it's not going to be impeding how you can handle the boat. It does have ballast tanks, it does have surf gate, it does have the power wedge, so all the things that you would want to get a really, really great surfway. We do disable them when we put it on Lake Oswego, but if you ever want to take the boat down to Shasta for a week, we can re-enable it and then you can use all of those devices. This boat gets a really great surf wake on it, even without using all of those things, and we're going to show you the wake once we get going here, and it's very impressive and super fun.
How about like customization? Like, do you typically have these on the showroom floor? Do people have to order them, or can they order them and customize them?
Either one, yeah. So we typically will have some in stock. This particular boat is the demo boat for this year, and it will be on the lake all year. We can take people out on it, and then at the end of the season, it gets sold as a demo boat. And we do typically have them in stock, or you can special order. So if in the off season, you want to take the time picking out all your colors and options, we would just sit down and do that with you and get the boat on order, and then it would come in exactly how you want it.
Hey, what about somebody who wants to buy a boat that doesn't live in a home that has access to a boat easement, and they don't live in a waterfront home, or maybe they just don't want to have a boat to operate on Lake Oswego, but they want to use it elsewhere? What about that? What other choices do they have, and where are some of the places they might go?
Absolutely. So this is the smallest in the Axis line. It's great for Lake Oswego, but they go up to 25 feet. So if you love the Axis and you want something that's a little bit bigger, we definitely have options for that. And then the kind of the main brand with Axis is Malibu, and we offer all different sizes and styles and things of the Malibu as well. Other brands we carry, Supra, Moomba, Nautique, and then the Barletta pontoon boats, all different ranges of sizes and styling. You can really customize and figure out exactly what you want. And depending on the size of crew, you can get a big enough boat to cover it.
Even though you can't use a lot of the extra kind of wave creating devices that are on this Axis A20, this is, in my opinion, the best boat for water sports that you can get for Lake Oswego. It has a great wakeboard wake, it has an amazing surf wake, and it has a great water ski wake.
When we started boating with friends on this lake, I didn't know that people have to deactivate their ballast tanks to control the size of the wake that boats throw off on Lake Oswego. But what I did notice was that a lot of our friends politely started asking me to sit in the back corner of the boat. Like every time somebody was wake surfing or wakeboarding or water skiing, and it didn't dawn on me initially like why that was, but
that's what we're gonna ask you to do, man.
now I understand. Okay, earlier we were talking about having Chantel get in the water and water ski with us today, but she's got an appointment, unfortunately conflicted. We're not going to be able to do that. However, we did discover one of Chantel's superpowers is actually backing up a very large boat with a tractor. And I have to say, for me as a man, observing her do this made me feel just a little bit insecure about my driving and backing ability. Okay, we're about to head back to base where we started, but Matt, we want to propose a race here. Do you think this boat could beat our drone?
Oh, I don't know. It's going to be close. We can certainly give it a shot and see what we can do.
Let's go.
All right, ready?
There we go.
3, 2, 1, hit it. The drone is struggling to keep up. I think the boat is winning.
Where's the drone?
Back there.
When?
Well, that was an epic boat versus drone race. It pains me to admit it, but the boat beat our drone decisively. We're going to give you one more look at beautiful Half Moon Bay here with the main lake out behind it as we pass under the bridge at North Shore Road. Okay, we've come full circle back to where we started. If you want to learn more about all the rules and regulations for owning and operating a boat on Lake Oswego, there's a lot of great information on the Lake Corporation website. We'll throw that link up here on screen so you can see that. But more importantly, Chantel, tell us how to find you guys. If somebody wants to learn more and get in touch, where can they go?
Yeah, absolutely. So Active H2O is our website, and we'll put that link in the comments. And then I also have a YouTube channel called Chantel Boats, where we'll put the link there as well, that gives more boating tips, specifically how to operate, things like that. And then just stop by the Active Water Sports in Oregon City, and we can show you some boats and then set up getting on the water.
Hey, thank you both so much for doing this with us, Chantel.
No,
and Matt.
absolutely. Thanks so much for featuring us and getting out on the water. This was great.
Yeah, thanks for joining us out on the water today.
Thanks for watching Live, Love Lake Oswego, the first real estate channel solely dedicated to all things Lake Oswego. If you'd ever like to have an exploratory conversation about buying or selling real estate here, please feel free to call or text me directly at the number on screen. Or if you'd just like to see more content about this amazing place that we call home, please consider subscribing.